Hello, everyone. Michael is here from the Healing with Coherence podcast. And I would like to welcome you to the new episode that is just now being published. The new episode of Healing with Coherence, the podcast that is delving deep into the profound transformation of healing technology, medical technology, and everything that has to do with health. And as you have been already following our series, you know that we've been trying to get in touch with different people from all walks of life, people who have something in common with the transformation of the healing science as such today in the world, and people who have been empowering other people around them in their quest for health self-sufficiency. In today's episode, I'm very thrilled to introduce you to a very special guest. All our guests are special in a way. And this particular person is someone that I met just recently, but I feel that we managed to establish a very strong bond just within the few days that we spent together. The person that I'm going to introduce to you is named Garry Lineham, and Garry is the co-founder of Fascial Maneuvers and Human Garage. Or to be more precise, he is the co-inventor of Fascial Maneuvers and co-founder of the organization Human Garage, which has been spreading the word and teachings of the fascial maneuvers around the globe. I was extremely lucky to not only meet with Garry, but to meet with the entire Human Garage team and to actually spend 24 hours with them at the resort where they were staying here in the Czech Republic. And not only that, I had the opportunity as well to be part of their event. And the whole experience was just magnificent. It was an eye-opening, it was exciting. It brought me so much new insights about how our body works, how healing and self-healing works, and actually how the fascial maneuvers invented by Garry and his team could help people around the globe to take their health into their own hands and be an active part in becoming healthy, becoming self-sufficient, and becoming really happy in the way they walk through life, in the way how they live their life. This episode is very special in a way that it was not recorded in the studio or in a studio. It was recorded in the resort where Human Garage team was staying. I met there with Garry and with team, and we recorded the first part of the podcast, about 40 minutes, while we were sitting in the lobby of the resort hotel. We discussed many different things, and I'm gonna go shortly through the topics of our discussion. And then we went for a walk through the resort. And the resort itself is a very, very special place. It's called Saint Katerina or Svata Katerina in Czech. And the whole place there, the whole spot has a strong healing power, strong healing energies, and I can experience that on every step I took together with Garry within the resort and through every minute that I spent in the resort. So a truly special place to meet with a truly special person. So for all of you who will be listening to this episode on the audio platforms, I would like to invite you to just try and make the effort to watch the video on YouTube, and just to see and experience the environment of the Saint Katerina resort. Also, please excuse the outdoor sound and noises which you can hear in the recording, because, as I said, we recorded on the walk while we were moving in the terrain, so it's not a pure and clean studio recording and studio sound, but it also brings this lively feeling of our discussion into the picture, which makes the whole experience very nice. And I believe that it will as well make your experience as listeners, as viewers, even more nicer. So just shortly to cover what you can be expecting from this episode, we started with defining how fascial maneuvers were invented, what fascial maneuvers are, what they serve for, and how people can then use them and for what purposes they can use them. We also discussed with Garry how the Human Garage as an organization was founded, when it was started, and what was the therapeutic background of Garry before he started Human Garage with his partners. Further on, we discuss topics around the idea behind founding the Human Garage and why everything that Human Garage offers, all the fascial maneuvers, are being offered for free, and they have been focusing on developing the therapeutic abilities of people around the globe. Their mission is actually to empower more than 1 billion people in starting to use the fascial maneuvers to help themselves and to help people around them. So we explored the notion of the expert and actually handing over your power as a personality to an expert versus being your own expert in your own healing practice by using the fascial maneuvers. We also discussed how fascia is connected to emotions. What is actually fascia as such? Because I think that when you hear their opinion on what fascia is, you will have a profound eye-opening, because it's completely different than what you have been used to hear from therapeutics and from medical experts today. Then slowly we got into the topic of improving human performance versus healing, and Garry was sharing how his own point of view has been shifting from healing towards performance, because he sees performance as something which is more desirable by people rather than healing. And that's why he and his team has been focusing on presenting fascial maneuvers or fascial maneuvers benefits for performance in everyday's life. We spoke about understanding the human body and basically admitting that we don't know the human body and how this is empowering in the process of healing. And finally, we also touched on the future of health as Garry Lineham sees the future of health. So, dear friends, without further ado and with a big pleasure, I'm inviting you to proceed further and to listen and watch this very, very special episode. Hello everyone, I'm here with Garry Lineham, the co-founder of Human Garage. I'm meeting Garry at Saint Katerina, which is a very special resort in the Czech Republic.
It's very special.
About 140 kilometers away from Prague. And I have been having the treat of my life so far with Human Garage. So everything has been so cool. And I'm here to understand a little bit more about Garry Lineham, about the Human Garage, and then to understand a little bit more about the fascial maneuvers, which Garry has invented himself, and he's been teaching it and basically showing around the world. Garry, hello.
Hey. So what did you think? I mean, you got a chance to go out there and do maneuvers this morning. We didn't move a lot, but you mentioned that you felt very pumped.
Yeah, at some moment I felt my back muscles really pumped, as if I had a workout just now, which was very interesting. And in general, I feel a bit high now from all the things that we did. And it's interesting, actually. I shared with you that I've been doing myself some kind of movements which I felt actually aimed at stretching the fascia in a way.
Yeah.
And I could discover some similarities with what you've been doing. So it felt like I've been on the right way myself with what I've been doing, and it feels very pleasant actually to stretch the fascia. Feels very pleasant. That's my feeling. So I feel relaxed and warmed up as well.
Warmed up, and because we were outside and it was really cold.
Yeah.
So you notice that even within a couple movements, the body started heating up. So it's not like we're running or on a treadmill, but the body's actually getting warm. The stress is coming down, and it allows the body to perform at its peak. So one of the things that we do when we exercise is that we create adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol. So we spike our stress hormones, and then over a period of time, they come down in about 4 to 6 hours. But in that 4 to 6 hours, after we exercise, our body can't actually even process the food. So quite often we eat right afterwards.
Okay.
Because when the adrenaline's in the blood, the body stops digesting properly. And so we have all this culture built around how we train and how we eat, and it works, but it does something for the body. But I found that over time, that's what was aging or causing the body to break down.
Okay.
And so when we're doing a fascial maneuvers, it takes the body out of stress right away. So your dopamine and serotonin come up. Like you mentioned, you were feeling a little high.
Yeah. Still am.
Yeah, it feels kind of like you had Molly or MDMA in a club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Garry, I'm really curious, how did it all start for you? I mean, it seems like you've been on that journey for some time already. How long since you started developing the fascial maneuvers?
Fascial maneuvers, the actual fascial maneuvers started during the pandemic.
Okay.
But what led up to them was the clinical practice. We had 52 practitioners in Venice, California, Los Angeles. And those 52 practitioners from every discipline, from every walk of medicine, from neurological to orthopedic to body workers, Chinese medicine, everything. And we based around a philosophy of working with fascia. At the time, we thought we were working with fascia, but what we were really doing was more of an advanced, what we were really doing was more of something that resembled Rolfing, and it was just structural. It was like in body parts. But in 2018, one day I sat here. Here, I'll do it with you right now. Put your knees up. Put my hands on my knees, and I turned the kneecaps like this. So I turned the skin, and then I sat up, and I just held it there. And you may feel it in your lower back in a second, right around your sacrum. And I had a back issue that had been bothering me for a couple of weeks, and I had my chiropractors adjusting it. I was getting body work, and I just couldn't get out of this issue. And as I was sitting here, and I turned the skin like this, all of a sudden, my back issue, like right now, I don't know if you feel it, lower back is starting to move. You feel it?
It's stretching.
It's stretching.
Yeah.
So it's stretching in the lower back.
Yeah.
And I'd done this, and then all of a sudden, my back injury or my back problem went away. And I thought, oh, how crazy is that? I said, what did I do? I was just turning the skin around my joints. Well, what if I turned the skin around this joint? My shoulder started to lighten up. You know, and you could take and move it. And you can feel it. It's unraveling in here. And so that night, I stayed up for about 6 hours till about 3 in the morning. And I had turned the skin around every joint that I could. To see what would happen. Okay. And the next day I got up and I felt fantastic. So that's what led to this discovery of fascial maneuvers. And at first it became a clinical therapy where 3 people would be turning different body parts. Okay. And then it was very driven on a table, like a normal therapist, because we had tables and we're in a clinic. And it worked, but it was 3 people working on somebody, and they were turning the fascia in different directions, instantly increased performance. When the pandemic came, and I was now not able to get care again for myself after being out of pain for so many years. I'm in pain again. And I'm like, how do I get that feeling that I would give to somebody on the table? How do I get it myself? Because there's no one else around. And that's when I started moving the body around and then twisting it. Kind of like you were saying you're doing with your own fascial stretches.
Yeah.
So that became a sequence of movements, and that sequence of movements, Jason, Cynthia, and I put them together, and we just started practicing every day. And I went from being in pain and after 30 years of being in pain, and then 10 of those years I've been in clinic managing it through treatment. Now in pain again during the pandemic. I'm now 3 months later, I'm not only out of pain, I'm performing better in my life than I ever have. And it was bizarre because it's such a simple thing, and it had such a profound impact on me.
Which is how it should be, I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, simple things are usually the most effective ones. You're saying that you were in pain. What was that pain? I mean, you've been living in pain. It means like was it like after sports, or what was the pain? Where it was coming from?
I mean, when I was a bodybuilder, as we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
I fell under a 600-pound squat, which pretty much ended my bodybuilding career. But I kept working out. And I would just, have a back injury, work through it, have a neck injury, go to a chiropractor. So I've been managing in and out of these little pain cycles my whole life. But as I got older, into my mid-30s, it started to get to the point where it was a 6 to 9 pain every day. And then I had a couple car accidents, some concussions. It just started piling up on me. And then at some point it was like, it became so painful that I had post-traumatic stress from it.
Okay. So you said about that clinic before COVID. I just didn't get it. You went to the clinic to get help yourself, or was it the clinic that...
I had my clinic.
You had your clinic?
Yeah,
okay.
So I had a clinic in Venice, California.
How did you end up in healthcare at all?
Well, after 20 years of trying to fix myself, through doctors. So I'd spent $2.5 million. I traveled all over the world trying to get rid of my pain.
Okay.
And it wasn't working. And I'd go into an osteo, a chiropractor, a physical therapist. I'd go into a variety of different doctors and pain management doctors, whatever. And it wasn't working. So one day I just decided I just was fed up. And I said, well, I'm going to have to do this myself. So I became a practitioner for the purposes of trying to figure out why practitioners couldn't help me.
Okay, that's interesting.
And my background is problem solving and business, specifically around computers, design, and stuff like that, and encryption software. So solving puzzles.
Okay.
So I just treated the body like a puzzle, and I started tearing apart the systems. And so I looked at therapy the same way that you would look at a computer program.
Okay.
And I started debugging the therapies. And what I found when I debugged the therapies is that they all had something that worked and something that was common, but they all were missing something. And I wasn't sure what they were missing, but I could see that I could start with the therapy, it would work for a period of time, I'd be feeling better, and then all of a sudden it stops working. So I go to another one. And then I go to another one. And this is very common for someone who has pain or dysfunction. They go from therapy to therapy, practice to practice, practitioner to practitioner. And from a computing standpoint, if you do that in a computer program, what it means that you have a bug somewhere.
Okay.
So I assumed that we had a bug somewhere. Where I found the bug in the human computer was in how we described who we were.
That's interesting.
It's like, what is the human being? Like, for example, we think that the bones are structure in the body, but none of the bones in your body touch except for your teeth, your rib cage, and your ears. So how could something be structure where this is structure right here? These are nailed together. So our bones actually don't touch. And like if you take the knee joint, you've got about this much space in between it. You've got a meniscus there. If it touches, it rips. You have one muscle that crosses the knee, and that's not holding the knee apart. You have tendons that keep it from pulling apart. So the only thing left to separate the knee is the fascia and the skin isn't doing it. So connective tissue had to be the structure. So if connective tissue was the structure, not the bones, what else am I missing?
Right.
And I just started going on assumptions like that. Like, here's another one. Muscles don't move the body. And that's a bold statement, but let me give you an example. We were doing nerve conduction testing, where we were testing and saying, how long does it take from a signal to get from the nerve here up to the brain with an EEG? So we put a nerve conduction testing equipment on.
Okay.
We put an EEG on the brain, and we watched the signal come up, go through the brain, through the homunculus and cerebellum, back down for motor control. So to move the foot. And that whole route, by the time it got up there and process came down, was about 1.5 seconds. So my question is, how do we move when we step on glass? Because we go 1/1000, ouch, move. We don't do that. We step on glass, we move right away. So the way that my doctors at the time when we were doing this explained it to me, they said it's a peripheral nervous system or a ganglion reflex. So if you hit a doctor, hits your knee, you go like that. But that's involuntary. I don't choose a direction. So basically what they were saying is if I step on glass, I just go boing, like a jumping jack. And I said, that can't be. Because I move intelligently one way to safety. So what I could say is that my body, when I step on glass or something sharp, my body's moving to safety at the exact second it happens. Millisecond, but my brain doesn't even yet register that there's a threat. So the hypothesis at the time was that the brain doesn't actually move the body.
Okay.
The brain responds to the body's movement. And these are just little observations.
This makes sense though. This makes sense, it's, I mean, we put so much, I think I would say trust or I don't know what the right word is into the brain. Like we consider the brain, everything that we are. I mean, I've heard so many people talking about the brain and we should develop the brain and the capacity of the brain, and we've been taught to believe that we are our brain, which I don't believe is the case.
So think about it this way: the body uses nerve endings as like horsepower. Okay, so your brain has 100 billion nerve endings. Your fascia, which is the real computer brain of the body, has 100 trillion nerve endings. So when we say that the brain is running the body, the direct equivalent would be you have an iPhone, Apple Watch, and you're saying it's running Google's worldwide servers.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the direct comparison.
Yeah.
So where does the human experience start? Because we say it starts in the body, but from my point of view, there's this field of energy around us called an entropic field. Some people call it an aura. We can measure it. We can take a picture of it. We can measure it. We can put a thermal camera on you and measure the light. We are light beings.
Yeah.
So the perception is this is a higher frequency because you and I don't see it with our eyes. We see the lower frequency. So this is a higher frequency, and frequency determines, let's say, intelligence in this world. And then the lower frequency is the part you and I interact with right here. So from a perspective of that, the higher frequency, as we get lower, it becomes more dense and we can interact with it. So this is the dense part of the experience. And when I say dense, I mean thick, dense, lethargic, not as fast, not as intelligent. So in my mind, the human body starts out here. The human experience starts out here. The part that we talk about or measure is right here. So what is a human? Well, it's not flesh. it's a ball of energy at the center of it. So I believe that the information that directs the fascia comes from there. And here's a little way of thinking of it. When somebody has an amputee, they lose a limb. Even by losing that limb, they get phantom pains. Well, there's no nerve to give a pain.
Yeah.
Furthermore, we can now put a prosthetic on and move it with our intention or our thought. Well, it's not our thought, because our thought goes through the nerve. So somehow we move that, and that's intention.
Yeah.
Well, where's that intention coming from if it's not coming from a thought? It has to be coming from something external. So the way I see it is there's this ball of energy that says, I'm having this experience, and it's got this human avatar trying to get that experience out, kind of like a video game.
Okay.
So
okay.
that's the way I process it.
I see. As you were speaking about the brain and the fascia, just an idea came to my mind that, and I'll turn it into a question. Do you think the fascia has awareness itself or a consciousness? Is that could you say that fascia is kind of a being that is in the body?
Well,
it has its own intelligence in a way.
Let's go back to it. Has its own intelligence, but let's go back to actually, let's take a step back. The intelligence is the human experience, which is that ball of energy. The fascia is, if you condense a body, it's basically 70% water, 25% silica, which is sand, and then 5% bacteria, viruses, and parasites. So at the end of it, if you put us in a centrifuge and spun us out, that's what comes out. That's the elements. So basically, we're a liquid crystal. So I would tend to say that the intelligence is here. The crystal allows us to transmit a signal. Because if you put a crystal, like in your cell phone, it has a crystal in it. That crystal allows that phone to talk to the tower. It amplifies the signal. And if that signal if that crystal is cracked or if it's smoky, it won't transmit the signal. And so I'm saying that our fascia is like that crystal. It is a crystal. So it's bringing the intelligence in, and we're interpreting it. And that's what our brain does. It helps us interpret or put together what it feels and what it senses to what this signal is coming in. And it combines the two for how we move, how we interpret, how we deal with things. Because there's some power outside of us or around us that's not connected to the brain, like some intelligence that comes in when we have an intuition or a thought that we've never thought of before. There's somewhere that comes from. And we can argue about where it comes from, but everybody has it. And it's not coming from the brain because it's not a known experience. Like things that I've never experienced before, I have an intuition about, like a deja vu about being somewhere, or a feeling that something's going to happen when it doesn't happen. So it has to come from somewhere, because it can't come from my learned experience.
Right. I would even say that, like talking about mind, we as a humanity has been taught to think that the mind is the brain, but actually true mind is not the brain.
Correct.
It's what you're talking about, like that awareness or consciousness or whatever it is, basically, which like where the intuition comes from, and like through thinking as well, which is instant. Basically, it's not something you instantly know what you need to do in any certain situation. It's not something that you need to sit down and figure out and think, and make really a hard labor around actually thinking and deciding, making decisions, because you know it instantly in the moment. And that's what I call the true mind.
So mind is an acronym. You think about it, it's basically your mind's interpreting a new dimension. Mind. It's literally, it's something, it's interpreting something. And so part of that interpretation process is the brain.
Right.
But the brain is only, let's say, taking that signal, receiving it and converting it, and using my known experience to try to understand it.
Okay. Why we have come to a point to put so much, to live so much in the brain and live through the brain?
Well, I think if you live through the brain, we become controllable, we become malleable, we become fearful, because the brain's job is to protect us, not expand us. So expansion comes through that intelligence, that desire, that feeling. But the brain has to say, well, there's a feeling here that I can do more. The brain goes, okay, let's make sure that we do it without hurting ourselves. So I believe that in nature, I mean, if you go back, indigenous tribes and in the people that lived in the land, they didn't treat the brain as special. They treated, because they didn't even know about the brain in particular, they treated the whole experience of being human as being connected with intelligence and the world. So the brain separates us from that intelligence.
Yeah, that has been my experience as well. So I've been focusing on to learn to live out of the brain, like to live and experience life through what I would call like through my heart.
Yeah.
Like more like use my not senses but like intuition as well, and like the true thinking that I was talking about is really just feeling my way ahead in life through my heart. And then just when the information comes into my body or into myself, then make basically discriminate through the mind, right? I mean, I have like one apple, a second apple, so I discriminate between the both apples, but that's what I use the computer for. It's not really that I'm not deciding through the mind that I need to go to the apple tree, you know?
Yeah.
Human garage. So
Yeah.
how did the idea about the human garage came, and
Well,
when did you start with human garage?
I mean, it started as a clinic. Well, actually, it didn't even start as a clinic. It started as helping people in our garage.
Literally in your garage.
In California. So
everything in California starts in
the
garage.
Yeah. So we were in Venice, California, and we had a clinic called the Rubenstein Center with my partner at the time, David Rubenstein. And we were doing this therapy to help people perform, but I was looking for a solution for myself. So I was working with another guy named Joseph Gonzalez in my garage. And we were trying to figure out a way to release the body, basically, to remove restrictions so that we could perform better. And so that was the origin of the therapy. And it was based around releasing restrictions in the body so that it could perform better. But we started in a garage. We were in an apartment. We had mainstream celebrities and people coming to apartments 6 days a week, from 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m. at night. And with the three of us, we worked in an apartment. And then at some point, we just had to put it into a commercial space. So we put it in a commercial space. And from there, we started adding practitioners and modalities. And next thing you know, we're treating all the Olympic athletes, not all of them, a lot of Olympic athletes, treating professional athletes, celebrities, everybody from Ben Affleck to Tyson Gay to Lucinda Demas, like really, really famous people in their respective professions, high-end doctors, because we had something that worked to relieve pain in the body. But as we started relieving pain in the body over time, we started looking at other things. It's like, well, that pain in the body, when you get rid of the pain in the body, well, my anxiety and my stress went away. And started realizing that if we took care of the body, a lot of these anxieties, stresses, depressions, and things like that would go away too. And that's when we really started, coming to the belief system that all these issues that we deal with today in society weren't from the brain like we thought. They're from the body. And if we fix the body, then the brain has less to do. And if the brain has less to do, it can function normally in our day and help us.
Okay. You mentioned athletes. So how have you been helping athletes?
Well, we started off working with athletes who couldn't be fixed anywhere else. So if somebody's coming from the Dodgers, Los Angeles Dodgers, or they're coming from the Lakers to get treatment with us, there's a pretty good assumption that with that kind of money, they've been everywhere else first. So we became really good at fixing or helping people who couldn't get fixed or helped elsewhere. And that became our norm. We were good at fixing people who couldn't get help. And that was me too. So that was just, and we just tried stuff that worked. We didn't need a reason, we didn't need a protocol. We were just experimenting constantly. And we had, because we were helping people, we had 10,000 active patients doing 3,000 to 5,000 appointments a month at an hour and a half to 2 hours an appointment with a variety of modalities. They just basically let us experiment. So it was a big experiment on people. And we used all kinds of lab work and testing, and we did everything from genetic testing to hormone testing to blood testing to food and allergy sensitivity testing. We had nutritionists, we had doctors, and everything you can imagine. And we were just applying anything and everything that we could think of to help people perform.
So that wasn't yet the fascial movements, right? Or
it wasn't the movements,
okay.
But it was working with the body in releasing. It could look like maybe an ART or maybe like Rolfing. It had some similarities in other forms of manual therapy where you're pressing into the body and releasing something. Elbow in the body once in a while. But as we progressed, we found that we could turn the fascia and torque it, and it would twist it, and it would work better than these releases. And that's what became the therapy of the clinic, and eventually during 2020, the pandemic, it became the maneuvers. And when we had literally transformed and healed our own bodies within months, we decided to make videos about it and just share it with everybody free of charge. So we've kept true to that mission, everything from starting a fascial maneuver, starting your first video, all the way through to becoming a practitioner is all free of charge. And the only thing we ask is people pay it forward so they help other people. So we have a system of 20 plus million people around the world doing this. We have tens of thousands of people sharing and helping, and thousands of people helping daily, and hundreds of them that are now acting as facilitators, coaches, and volunteers, helping people going through their own transition. Because I don't believe that to be a coach or to be a practitioner here, you have to go and study for years. You can help yourself, and with that genuine experience, you can go and help somebody with that exact same issue tomorrow. So everybody out there who's had an issue, whether it's cancer, or whether it's an arm problem, or whether it's a neck problem, or whether it's autoimmune disease, can go, if they've helped themselves through it, they can say to someone else, I did this, it worked for me. And the whole system worldwide is built on people helping people through their genuine experience.
Which crushes away or crushes to pieces the notion of the expert, right? I mean, that's something that we've been as well as a society taught to believe in the experts. Whatever you need to basically to get help with, you need to go to the expert because you're not able to do it yourself. So this has to do a lot with believing that we could be self-sufficient individuals, basically. Yes. So it is just handing over an experience, the other person taking over the experience and doing it, making it into their own experience, right? That's the whole principle that it works.
Well, if you taught somebody about skiing and you taught them about how it works, the dynamics of shifting your weight, how your ski edge cuts into the snow, how the boots work, how to use your poles, and you told them everything, but they'd never skied, could they be an expert? And the answer is no. They'd have to be out there and ski to be an expert. So this idea of going and getting academic education to become an expert, that doesn't, because I have a degree, doesn't make me an expert. But even because I practice didn't make me an expert. But if I had an issue that I personally worked myself through, by default I am an expert in that because I have resolved it myself. And so expert's a funny word. It's you know, think about it, take it apart. Ex, Latin. Ex is in used to be, or has been.
Yeah.
It's no longer, has been. And then spurt. Well, spurt in English is like a drip of water under pressure, spurt.
Okay.
So expert is a has been drip under pressure.
Okay. Yeah.
So So the idea,
Words are so powerful.
yeah. So with joke kidding aside, I had a situation once, and I won't say the name, but I had a situation as a doctor who was helping me as a chiropractor. And I was really hurting one day, and I said, you know, when your neck is, I was trying to explain it to you, your neck is in pain and you just can't move it. And I was explaining my pain. And I said, do you know when it's like this? And he goes, no, I don't know. I've never had it. And first of all, even if you hadn't had it as a doctor, why would you separate yourself from me? Like, why would you say, no, I don't know? Oh, I can understand. I feel that way. But that moment was the last moment I let him touch me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, you don't even understand the basics. You don't understand how I feel. That's disconnected from me as a person. Well, I find that to be quite a bit of what's, it's even practice in medicine. It's the disconnection. It's the transference that they're trying not to get in medicine. And, quite honestly, as a practitioner, I tried that for a while and it didn't work. It just made it worse for me and them. So I became involved in them, which, created a whole series of other things I had to learn through. Like not to take other people's energy, not to make their problems my problems. But between not being connected to people and being too connected people, there's a middle area where I could be compassionate to somebody. I could empathize with them, and I could go, yeah, I've had pain. Maybe not that exact pain, but I know how that feels. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I believe that this is the new realm of helping people. It's people who have experience, who genuinely want to help somebody else through that experience, because with that goes a lot of love and a lot of caring. And that's where the world's going.
Okay. I've seen many videos on your Instagram. I've seen a lot of situations when you work with someone. You work, for example, in a couple with someone, and you twist them through different movements or maneuvers, and there is then like kind of reactions, emotional releases, and stuff like that. So how fascia is related to emotions and emotional blocks? Well,
so think about how movement works. We were talking about the brain not being in control of the movement. So the brain actually you don't move your body until you have a desire to move. You can have a thought, but until I have a desire, which is an emotion, I don't move. So again, my theory is that emotion precedes motion. Mm-hmm. And so if movement is emotional, then energy, my emotion is energy, emotion, that is emotion, and that is what the body's doing, and it's transmuting through the fascia. And the fascia is supposed to take that emotion in and emote it, push it out. But if our fascia is dehydrated, if it's contracted, if it has heavy metals in it, it brings the emotion in, that emotion gets caught up in there. Mm-hmm. And so when that emotion gets caught up and we move the fascia, the tissue, in the way it should have been moved in the first place, that energy comes out. Again, that emotion, that energy emotion. So really an emotion is just simply defining that creative force that allows us to move. And our brain moves it. So we're just moving the stuck tissue, which moves the stuck emotion. Remember, the body's a computer. The brain would be then a processor who runs programs, like a CPU. So really, it's stuck in our hard drive. And when we move part of the hard drive in the body and moving it here, it's going to connect to something that I've stored. And that's where the emotion comes up.
Okay. So how the release of the emotion works through the fascial movements?
Well, we're moving the tissue, the energy gets excited. The energy then needs a resolution. Because an emotion also needs, if I touch you like that, it creates a sensation. Mm-hmm. If I hold it there long enough and I don't remove it, at some point there's going to be something stir up in your body. Mm-hmm. And there's all kinds of questions. Like all of a sudden the brain starts going, does this feel good? Does it not feel good? Am I safe? Am I okay with this?
How long I'm gonna...
How long is this going to be here?
Yeah.
Is it... So right now, there's starting to be an emotion. I can feel it in your body. So I can feel your body. So that's what's happening, is the body's starting to process that energy. And that energy is emotional. So this is where, when we touch the body, you have a sensation. Then that sensation goes to the brain and says, do I know this sensation? And then it goes, am I safe? Am I protected? Do I like it? Don't I like it? It makes judgments. And then measurements. And then it attaches to, if I like it, it attaches maybe to some serotonin, some dopamine. If I don't like it, it may attach to adrenaline. So it attaches to an organ, which is an emotion. And then it comes out through energy. So I'm still going here.
It's all right.
But it's changing the sensation.
It is.
Right now, up about this area of your body.
It's not hurting that anymore.
Yeah. Because the body's going, okay, I'm safe. And then I can even regulate it by pushing a specific frequency through it. So I'll do one right here.
Now it feels relaxing
Okay.
and calming.
So let me do another frequency.
Excitement and a bit of like freaking out.
Okay, that's throat, blue chakra. So here's
Okay.
another frequency.
Bit of going down and deeper.
Yeah. And here's a deep frequency.
Spatial.
Yeah. So what I was doing is, with intent, changing the frequency of my body. And you could feel the change. Now that's just like a martial artist who's really good at moving energy, qigong, you
Yeah.
ever seen? That's equivalent to that. And that's what I've learned through this practice, is to be able to do that.
That's good. That's good. So I mean, it is about like focusing and what is that? Channeling, right?
Yeah.
Channeling.
You can call it channeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like channeling has become sometimes this mystic thing.
Like channeling from above, right?
Yeah.
But now you channeling the emotion that you are generating
Yeah.
in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have been the? I mean, I believe that you've been through so many cases, helping people like releasing emotions, getting over injuries and so on. But some cases when it's been, I don't know, like really, I don't know if the word impressive or something which like you have helped with some stuff that hasn't been.
Children are my favorite. I have a little girl that couldn't walk and or couldn't talk, and I helped the parents help her to start moving and speaking words. Like I have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cases like that. I mean, I help adults all the time, but children are really near and dear to my heart. But the thing is that yes, I've helped them myself, but the most rewarding is when I help them help themselves, or when I help the parents help them.
I hope you have been enjoying the discussion with Garry Lineham so far. I just wanted to give you a heads up that the following part is the part when we go for a walk through the Saint Katerina resort. So if you have been listening so far on any of the podcast audio platforms, I would like to invite you to watch the next part on YouTube, where you'll be able as well to experience the surrounding and the beautiful premises of Saint Katerina. And if you cannot do it right now, maybe later, you can do that, and you will find the video recording on the Healing with Coherence YouTube channel, which is a sub-channel of the Therapy main YouTube channel. And by the way, if you have not subscribed yet for Healing with Coherence, you can do so on all audio platforms that you have been listening, or if you are watching this video on YouTube, you can subscribe to the Therapy channel, and all future episodes of the Healing with Coherence podcast will reach you on time.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the fascial fuel.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we'll take these, and then we're going to see how you feel in another 30 minutes.
Okay.
And these will be available in Czech probably within the year.
Looking forward.
As we were sitting there, let me just sit more. Like warmed up from inside. Was
Yes.
that the curcuma?
Yes. Well, unless I was pushing you at the end. Because at the very end, when I was pushing into you, I was sending actually frequency or chakra.
Okay.
Okay, let's set up. So this is the coolest part about this place. I mean, you know, part of our process is to be in nature. And I'm wearing shoes, these are my ground shoes. But almost always I'm barefoot. But for us, I've found that when I'm in nature, I have the best healing and detox mechanism. So we've organized our life to be in nature. We live in nature. We go to the beach every morning for sunrise when we're in Cancun. Or in Vancouver, we live on the mountains. We're constantly in nature. Hello,
morning,
hello. And this resort here.
Well, this place is amazing.
It's amazing. I mean, we've got the medieval waters, which we're drinking.
Yeah.
We've got all of these old pavilions, buildings that, you know, a couple hundred years old. And we're going to go to one of the best facilities I've ever seen in my life. And it's
Impressive to see it at night with all the lights. The pavilion where we're going, amazing.
so this is a really important part of our process. So our process, Fascial Maneuvers, you know, I spend about between 20 and 40 minutes a day on my own practice, and that's it. I don't exercise anywhere else. I like to move in nature, like go hiking and climbing and running and stuff like that. But
Can you show your biceps, please? Because I don't believe he's not practicing with these biceps, right? And with these triceps, he's not practicing.
But it's
used
soft.
To be,
It's soft.
He used to be a
Feel it.
bodybuilder.
But-
That's so.
I feel it. It's soft.
It is.
It doesn't even feel like muscle. Oh,
I noticed that when we were on Zoom, I noticed your hands, you know, and okay, I thought that you're working out.
yeah. Well, it's so the idea was, what if I remove all the restriction from my body? Because if you go to lift your shoulder,
Yeah.
okay, but if I remove the restriction, you lift your shoulder, you use less resources, less
Right.
muscle.
Yeah.
So if you use less muscle when you're doing that, then you have more performance. You have more range of motion. Here's another one. Take your hand like this and get your maximum range of motion, right? Okay, now close your fist and do it. You lose your range of motion.
Yeah. Different.
So what that means is if I grab something and go like this, I'm restricting my range of motion.
Uh-huh.
So I'm building restrictions in my joints, which makes me lose power or use more energy to move through it. So the whole idea of working out in a gym or using weights doesn't actually make sense if I want to be strong. So like right now, I can put you on my back and run up a hill and I don't even break a sweat.
Okay.
But I couldn't do that as a 235-pound bodybuilder. So what's performance? Do I need muscle or do I need to remove restriction? And where's that balance? So the idea is the balance between restriction and muscles. Now look at this place.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. And the idea was to find that harmony or that balance.
Well, I see, that makes sense because I haven't been lifting weights since I used to do bodybuilding myself. Just recently I had a period when I felt I need to gain more strength through lifting free weights. So I went back to the fitness. Didn't stay there for long because I really didn't enjoy the whole thing. So what I've been doing is I do a lot of practice with my own weight, but it's not like calisthenics or anything like that. I do gymnastics, I do yoga, stuff like that. And what I feel is that it is about developing the kind of the tensegrial abilities of the body, basically uniting the whole body, which is actually the tensegrial ability of the body is held by the fascia. In fact,
yeah. So that's the whole point. It's like moving on that direction. But you got a whole bunch of people in the world that believe that muscle is the most important thing.
Hello.
Hello.
This is beautiful.
I'll just switch off also lights and you can be here like just 30 minutes.
Yeah, I want to share this.
What you want
Jan's from
so just come
the
on.
property and look at this property. I mean, this is talk about being in nature and healing. If you had to blend technology and nature, this is one of the most. How long has this facility been here?
It's they opened it in 2019. Just maybe from the beginning. I'm the man who is working for this beautiful venue. My name is Jan, and I really friendly welcome you here in the Ayurveda Pavilion, which I could say that it's really our highlight. We opened it in 2019, and it changed our concept. And in Ayurveda Pavilion, we provide authentic Ayurveda on the left part and Ayurvedic treatments, and on the second side you can see that it's modern new wellness. This special building received the award for the best building of 2000 year and its architecture. So we are so proud that we can show you this place, and please feel free go around and just enjoy it.
So this is going to be fun to look at.
Yeah, yeah.
So for us, this is a part of our lifestyle and regime is to come to places like this and live in them, and that's what we do as we travel around the world and we help people.
How did you find this place? Because just a week ago you didn't know we're coming, right?
Yeah. Well, we
were looking for a castle.
we called around and we called around and we asked people here what was the best facility you could come to in the Czech Republic, and this is the best facility that people said, and we've been eating Ayurvedic food. I mean, it's so, and I love to experience the different cultures and see how it reacts in our body. So we've been drinking the water, and as you can see,
we had the swim this morning. It was just amazing. Yeah, I mean, there is a beautiful pond here We maybe can go back just to show it as well.
Well, we've got it on film.
Oh, you've got it already. Yeah, we've got it. Amazing swim. So the filter of the water.
So let's take a look.
Yeah, let's go. Breathe in.
Is this a...
Go around to the right to the relaxation zone.
Wow.
This is the reception where people are coming and our therapist will take care about them. We have 6 massage cabins.
This is beautiful. These are just
And
to relax.
The view is gorgeous.
What's in here, dear?
Look at this. This is just to relax. Come in. And these are all like this all the way down?
Yeah.
What I love is the way that they...
You can look into the massage room if you want. This is also special
Okay.
artwork.
Yeah, let's.
Okay, we'll come back there. So we actually have these for meeting, quiet. It's just the design is so well laid out.
Really amazing place.
Yeah. So the primary idea was around this whole practice was originally how to improve human performance. And the idea is like there's a lot of people focused on trying to heal their bodies right now.
Yeah.
But typically, people hit about 80% of their goal. So if the goal is to heal, people will never be healed. But if the goal is to perform, then people will heal as a result of performing.
Mm-hmm.
So part of our program, we're doing this one world tour because we have 20 plus million people around the world doing this, but it's an individual practice. They didn't start it at a yoga studio or a gym. They started in their homes. So the world tour is to bring everybody together. And then we're only doing one world tour, and then I will never speak about healing the body again. I only speak about performance because everything that we need to talk about to heal the body is already done. It's already been said. Every question's been answered that you can imagine. There's, like we get upwards of 50,000 DMs, questions. We get 50,000 questions through our DMs just on Instagram per week.
Okay.
And within 6 months, that'll be 250,000 questions a week because people don't have answers. And so that's all there. That whole system is running, and it runs, it's free of charge. Anybody can go get answers, and they can get legitimate answers to the serious health questions. And what we find today, which is really scary, is that we'll have like a husband and wife, as an example, a couple, messaging us about health questions. We can see it because we can see the connection in our back end.
Okay.
But they're not talking to each other
All right.
because the pandemic has taken and made personal health issues equivalent to politics and religion. So, I got something in here.
You know what I've been wondering, listening to you, how did humanity end up by having such a huge medical structure available? Hospitals and like professionals and medical doctors and everything. And it seems like naturally everyone is now tending to just look for different solutions.
Well, so think about it this way. There's a problem with the idea of healthcare. The human body heals itself.
Okay.
So when we give it a drug or surgery, we're just helping it heal itself. So somewhere along the line, like if you go back, let's say you go back 7,500 years ago, 99% of the population 100 years ago had no access to surgery. Right now, if you break your leg, you have to have surgery, otherwise you're not going to walk again. But what did we do 100 years ago? Did we just say, well, you can't, your leg's not working? Did we shoot people like a horse? Somewhere along the line, we're taught that we needed to have this medical intervention, and that means that the body can't heal itself, which the most powerful part of healing in the body is my belief that it will heal.
Its own ability.
Yeah.
You know, just yesterday I was recording an episode with Larry Wallace, who is an optometrist and syntonic
By
doctor.
the way, the portal.
Yeah. And he heals eyes through light therapy and color, and that's what we were talking about as well. And I was asking him the same question, you know, why like healing with light and color, for example, is not that widely spread in his specific area of expertise. And he just said, well, because people are just used to, whenever they have, you know, like problem with their eyes, they either go for a surgery or they, you know, get the glasses, which he said is not a bad thing, of course, but there are certain as well recommendations how to go for it. So it seems like the quick solution, you know, like, I don't know if it's a quick solution, but that's how we've been taught to think about it, like a surgery or intervention.
Think about it this way. You said glasses. The American Society of Optometrists has a program which retrains your eyes to see without glasses. But there's no prescription, there's nothing sold.
Okay.
So even though they've approved it, nobody uses it. And talking about light, you can administer light in different ways. You can also administer light by bringing it into that field I was talking about. I can show you something right now.
Yeah.
Can I do something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm going to just lift up your shirt a bit here.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is drop your hands. I got it. I want you to close your eyes. Put your head neutral. I want you to breathe in the color yellow. Breathe. Breathe. Imagine it's going from the front to the back. Now repeat after me. Say, I accept my feelings and emotions.
I accept my feelings and emotions
without judgment.
without judgment.
Open your eyes. What does that feel like?
Focused.
Yeah.
Like everything together.
So here's another one. Back up. Breathe in green from the front to the back. Say, I'm opening up my heart
I'm opening my heart
to receive love
to receive love
and caring,
and caring,
so I can give love and caring.
so I can give love and caring.
Breathe in. Get warm all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah.
Look around. Colors more vibrant.
More vibrant. Yeah.
So
Fresher.
what I'm doing is I'm just articulating there's colors around us. I'm just focusing those colors using my hands. You know, think about the human body. We have this light, it comes in, and then we've got this soft tissue, and at the center of it we get a bone. That bone is more dense, so it carries more calcium, it sends more signal. So out of 226 bones in the body, 50% of them, half of them, are in my hands and my feet. That's why babies are always touching their hands and their feet, because that's our primary sensors. There's 10 fingers and 10 organs. The way I look at it, 1 finger per organ, not like Chinese medicine.
Okay.
Fascially.
Okay.
You've got 640 muscles in the body. Half of them are from here to here. So half the muscles are here, that means your fascial connections, and half the bones are there.
Okay.
You can see that there's these inverse relationships in the body that I've observed. I don't really know 100% of what they are. And to be honest with you, people ask me all the time, do I understand fascia and do I understand the body? And the answer is no. I mean, inside the cell of a body, you have between 5 and 15,000 proteins in every cell. Mm-hmm. We have 50 trillion cells. So if you average it at 10, that's 5 quintillion proteins. Scientifically, we only know what 100,000 of them are, and we only know what 5,000 of them do. So we know what 100,000 out of 5 quintillion are. How can we say that we even come close to understanding the human body? We don't.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely, I agree with that.
So I have a theory about a way of explaining why this fascial work works. Mm-hmm. But I have been through this process where every time I think I know, I find something new. So I'm at the point where I don't know anything. And this theory that I have that I'm presenting this year about why this works is just a theory, and I'm open to anybody saying and coming up, and that's why we're open sourcing it. It's like, you tell us, you go out and find it. Do you have another way to explain this? And if you do, and it makes sense, we'll adopt it. Because to be truthful, we don't know. But we can observe that when we do these movements, when we do these things, when we do these resets, when we move this light around, we can observe there's a change in the body. We can see that it performs better. But who really knows?
Well, I really don't understand that desire to get to know every detail of how the body works, you know, like to get to know to understand all the mechanisms and all the processes. As you say, it's fine to have an idea about it, but you can never understand how it really works. And for me, the most important thing is to learn to listen to your body, to be in connection with your body, to understand it in a way that you communicate with it. You understand its needs. And that's all you need. I mean,
that's all we need.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on new ways to understand the body, or understand the body, maybe is a better way.
What is, according to your understanding of how people think today and how they look on life, what is the main misconception of people about their health?
Is that the main misconception is that we need something external to us to make us healthy. And the body is built as a dynamic healing machine, or performing machine, maybe is a better way to say it. And the only thing that the body really needs is minerals, water, movement, and air. And what I've found is the less that we do for the body, the better the body performs. So I came from a world back through the 80s, biohacking, and true biohacking, because we didn't have technology, we had to just figure it out. Mm-hmm. And what I found is that the biohacking community, by whole, from a clinical perspective, they look really good at first. And then they start to have problems because they're constantly inputting to the body, and the body's constantly responding to all these inputs. And that means that you're taking away something that the body should be doing naturally. Like if I'm giving my body glutathione all the time, it's not, it forgets how to get it from the environment and from itself. And we have these belief systems that as we age, as the years go by, aging, we get older. But as you can see from my videos and my photos, I'm getting younger, and so is everybody around me. So I believe that the biggest confusion in the body is that we need something outside of us to help us.
I'm so glad you mentioned biohacking, by the way, because like the whole concept of hacking your body seems to me weird, you know, like, or seems weird to me, because like to hack something means basically to get an authorized access to it, right, from the computer technology.
Right.
So for me, I know that the idea and the notion behind this is correct. Basically, at the end of the day, what biohackers do, they try to find different ways how to support the natural processes of the body. But just the notion of calling it a biohacking, I think puts the whole focus in a, like wrongly the focus basically, because what you say exactly, at the end we end up trying to do what the body does best, but for the body, right? I mean, ourselves, we try to do what the body does best itself. So it is only about just giving it a support, the right support, creating the environment that the body can perform what it has been designed to do.
So we go back to that mechanism. Your brain has 100 billion nerve endings. Your fascia has 100 trillion nerve endings. So biohacking indicates that I'm using the Apple Watch to hack Google server.
Okay.
So it just from a standpoint, and you know, we've got a couple people in the world right now that are spending exorbitant amounts of money using technology to try and heal, you know, make themselves younger. You know, and for the most part, I can see there's one guy in particular, and he's spending millions of dollars doing it.
The 2.5 million longevity protocol.
Yeah. And you know, I can observe that it's actually working. Like it is. I can see him getting what appears to be younger, but in the same course of nature, I think time is going to have a different outlook on that situation, because again, the body, you can push it to some degree, but when you do something for the body that it's meant to do by itself, it loses its natural ability and it becomes dependent. So I you know, and time will see, and I could be wrong.
But you know, like okay, well, there is the mummification process, right? When like Egyptians used to use and they mummified the dead bodies, right? And this dead body survived thousands of years untouched in a way. So if you know, like you say, these men and other people who are working on their youthfulness or basically longevity, and they tend to look younger from the outside, isn't that as well? Maybe it's just a process of mummifying the body, but it's not really like being really young from the, I would say, even from the spirit out, you know.
Well, I guess what, like we'll say, is time will reveal all. So, you know, and I'm open to the fact that works too. I mean, I really am. I'm open to the fact that I don't know about that as well, but just generally my experience says, the least amount that I do for my body, allowing the body to adapt at the highest potential, seems to be the best way to naturally do this.
This has been my feeling as well, because as I founded Athletic Longevity, my Czech podcast, and it's been turning into a platform where, like, to inspire people basically to look for their youthful soul or like spark inside of them. So from looking for the longevity in terms of the body, I've been more and more looking for the longevity of your spirit, you know, just having enjoying the ability of your body to move in a natural way, focus on the moment, being in the moment, without actually, you know, like planning how long I want to be here, doing plans like in future time, and just basically enjoying being in your body. That's what longevity for me is. It's not about looking in a way in a certain way, this might be an outer result that at the end of the day you look younger.
I
but
think
that's not the objective.
I think it's feeling younger, which eventually makes you look younger.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the medieval water.
Yeah.
What does that say?
The spring of Saint Katerina.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that runs, and that water has got to be the best water I have ever tasted. I mean, we have water machines. It's got a spigot there. We have water machines that you know, converts the water back into the ionizers, back into H3O2. But there's something about that. It's magic. You can feel it in the body.
Indeed.
So, and this is where my quest has gone. I've gone from a very technology-centric lifestyle to very opposite of that. I have, you know, 4 pairs of shorts. I've got a dozen t-shirts, 2 pairs of shoes. Everything I own fits in a backpack. Some crystals, some oils. I don't have a driver's license. I don't have a bank account. I don't use money. I mean, there are people around me that currently do, but I feel that I'm moving into the part of the world where I believe everybody's going to go eventually. And as I remove the technology and the things from my life seems to get better.
Like who or like what do you identify yourself? Are you an explorer? Are you like an astronaut?
Yeah, I think explorer. I think explorer, adventurer. Thank you. I think it's fair to say explorer, and I think you can say adventurer.
Okay.
Let's go sit on the machine. And I think that's the best way to describe it. So let's, you want to, here, grab, sit down?
Yep.
So we'll put this on. This is going to put hydrogen gas. Here, just, I'll let you put it on.
Yep.
So this is going to put hydrogen gas through your eyes and oxygen as well at the same time.
Should I expect something?
Yeah, in a second. I'm going to turn it on. There it is.
Welcome to use hydrogen generator. Please timing. Hydrogen production start.
See, we can put hydrogen through your nose. You can put it through your ears. You can put it through your eyes. Mm-hmm. You feel a little bit going there. This is the Tech Pro 900. We get it from
H2 water?
H2 Water Experts, Shane. And then this is the Nano V from Ing 3. This one here takes the 4th phase of water and it injects the water into the cells. This is our little tech setup here. We don't carry a lot of tech with us, but we carry this and our Alka Viva water filter. Mm-hmm. We travel with it. We travel with this part of technology. It's all water technology. This is basically hydrogen gas, or which goes into the water.
Okay.
Or Brown's gas. This is water, and then we have our water machine. And that's the technology that we predominantly travel with.
Okay. Okay. What it does? What it's doing?
So this hydrogen is taking the hydroxy free radical and scavenging it, eliminating it. So when your body creates oxidative stress, oxidative stress is what ages us, wears us. If you take an apple and cut it, it turns brown. That's oxidization. Well, that happens inside of us. So this is actually getting rid of that. This is a medical device. This one here is reasonably priced in US dollars. I think it's about $4,000 or $5,000. This one here is about $14,000 or $15,000. But this one here goes into intercellular, and what it does is it removes protein folding issues. So protein folding is when the cell is trying to make proteins to expand and grow and change. If the proteins fold, then the cell collapses, it creates damage. And that's where all disease comes from, actually. So this can't cure a disease, but it can stop all of the issues that cause your body to not be able to cure itself from a disease.
Okay.
So these are the things that we travel with. We actually put them in a big Pelican case, and we haul them around the world with us.
All right. Well, like as well, the notion of healing a disease, I think it's what we already discussed. It's not about actually focusing on healing the disease. It's about focusing on creating the environment in the body to let it heal itself.
Yeah. And disease is simply the body's not at ease.
Okay.
So if I'm fearful in my body, I'm not at ease. If I'm in fear and I eat food, if I'm in fear, I have adrenaline in my body, norepinephrine and cortisol. If I eat food, my food isn't digesting. That creates waste product in the body, that creates toxicity. So if I'm in fear in my body long enough, eventually that disease in my body, not feeling at ease, will be measurable by science. And that's where all disease comes from. And I believe that all disease is emotional. Even if we have a genetic disorder, if the body is healthy and out of stress, the body will process and work through that genetic order, because the genetic disorder requires a stressor to affect the gene in order to mutate. And without that, the body doesn't have it. Just because I have a predisposition doesn't mean I have a disease. So again, it's another way of just looking at the same problem by saying, hey, let's just get the stress out of our bodies and let our bodies do what they're supposed to do.
What how do you see the future of health and healthcare?
Well, I think the word healthcare is disingenuous. The future of health is that we care for ourselves and we help others care for themselves. 80% of healthcare, actually more appropriately if you go back 150 years ago, 95% of healthcare was delivered by people in the community helping each other. In the last 50 years in particular, we've switched that to 98% is done by an institution, singularized. And we're in Czech Republic, which used to be a communist country, where it had centralized control. Didn't work so well. I think that's very much of what you might look at healthcare like today, is centralized control. So we've kind of got communism in healthcare. And I think as we give back to the people and give them the power, I believe that the world will become a better place. And it is. It's starting to right now. We got an uphill climb though. We've got a couple of years where we're going to be coming out of this turmoil. And it's important for people like you who carry a message to be able to, communicate to people in different ways and help them see different points of view, because we've lost that connection to the self-healing. We've lost the connection. It's still there. We've just lost the language to understand how it works.
What about the Fascial Maneuvers? What is the future of them?
I don't really know. I think, where I can say it's going right now, it's in professional sports, it's in trauma relief, it's parents helping children with our children's programs, it's being used by colleges and universities, it's being used by sports teams. I feel that there'll be 250 million people this time next year doing this. you give it a year after, there'll be a couple billion people involved in some form of movement through this. I have no idea where it goes. I just know that when you give people the ability to create without restriction, the world changes. So that's why it's free for the world to use and adapt and license in any way that they want free of charge.
So maybe it will have the future of it. It will be that people, as they have been adopting it, they will continue developing it in their own way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we want. I mean, we want people to take the idea, because fascial maneuvers is not a movement, it's a philosophy of how the body moves fascially. And with that philosophy, it can be adapted by every single individual, unique to them. And all they have to do is understand the language of it, which is the 10 essential maneuvers, and from there they can convert anything.
Okay, okay. So where can one find them, the 10 basic fascial maneuvers?
They can go to our website.
Okay.
They can go to our YouTube. We have the most powerful thing, if somebody's ready for it, is we have resets on our website, like a upper reset and a lower reset, a barefoot sprinter routine number 2. We have different resets that you can do, but we have a 28-day reset, which is more than just doing a reset. It educates people on how this works and why this works. And that 28-day reset can be accessed via our website, and then we have an app that they can go through. And there's thousands or tens of thousands of other people going through that reset right now, and you can go in and daily it shows you step by step. Here's the maneuver, here's the focus, here's the intent, here's the meditation, here's the learning, and you can do it on like 30 minutes or 40 minutes a day, very, very quickly. So that 28-day reset is a door opener, and if you want to become a practitioner or a coach or a facilitator or a volunteer in some way, we have, after the 28-day reset, we have what we call Lifestyle Artist Level 1, which is like a more advanced, and Lifestyle Artist Level 2. And then from there, our world opens up, and there's people all over the world that are doing this, everything from PhDs, medical doctors, down to moms, dads, students, sports trainers, coaches, and athletes.
Amazing, amazing. That's very nice.
Oh,
All right, okay. Well, Garry, this has been amazing. Amazing. I mean, really nice to connect and to look deeper into your way of thinking and into the fascial maneuvers and in the entire philosophy around that. I feel enriched, which is always a good sign.
by the way, how do you? It's been about 45 minutes since you've taken the fascial fuel.
Right? Yeah.
How do you feel now?
I feel very kind of balanced, standing on my feet, and the same way very light.
And focused?
Very clear-minded.
Very clear-minded.
Clear-minded.
So the fascial fuel puts your body onto ketones.
Okay.
And it runs there for 4 to 6 hours.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, very clear-minded, because what I first of all, I feel as well like my speech is very clear.
Yeah.
I'm not a native speaker, but the English words have been coming very easily. So really like clear as of mind, I think.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah.
So the fascial, the Power Kirk 30 reduced all the inflammation in the body, which gives you a clarity of mind. It releases serotonin and allows testosterone and estrogen and stuff like that to rise.
Okay.
And then it loosens all the tissue in the fascia. And then the fascial fuel, it puts your body on ketones, so you have energy without stimulation.
Okay. Okay.
And then you have the focus and the concentration, so you can clearly, like I said, access more cognitive function. And you have energy, and you haven't eaten anything yet.
Yeah. No, I haven't. By the way, because I went as we were recording and walking around, I went to the toilet, and when I actually twice, and I looked into my face. I don't know how it's gonna look on the camera, but what I noticed in the mirror is that I felt like my face was radiating.
Yes.
And the skin is very smooth. So,
Yeah.
I mean, from all the treatment I've been getting since the morning, I don't know what caused it, but maybe everything together.
It's a combination, and it's a combination. I mean, it happens normally. You can see before and after photos when we do single ones, but add the supplements the first time. Add this water. Listen, I mean, I have changed significantly. I've been here 7 days. My skin has changed. And my body has changed as a result of being here. So there's a magic here. I highly recommend people come to the spa.
Absolutely. I've been just thinking that I'm gonna take my wife over for a weekend. So Garry, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure to have you on this podcast. And for everyone that has been watching, one more time, we've been here with Garry. Okay, we're there. We've been here with Garry Lineham from Human Garage. I learned a lot. It's been a great exchange, and I'm looking forward to stay in touch.
Yeah,
and
this is just a start.
Yeah, this is just a start. I believe so.
We're sparking the Czech Republic.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome to the Czech Republic. Okay, bye everyone, and I'll see you with our next guest. Till then, have a good time and do the fascial maneuvers.
I hope that you enjoyed this discussion and this episode as much as I did while I was producing it, while I was spending time with the Human Garage team. And if you have any comments or feedback to this episode, please don't hesitate to leave it either on social media, on the Healing with Coherence profile, or on YouTube in the comments, or anywhere else where there is an opportunity to comment under the audio recording on audio podcasts. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so now, because this will help us very much to continue growing and developing Healing with Coherence podcast. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you with our next guest. Bye-bye.